Hey there. Today I wanted to talk about the MLB postseason and give my picks on who I believe will win each round and eventually win the World Series. First, I wanted to take a look at the matchup starting today between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Atlanta Braves. The Braves have been a stout team for most of the season with budding stars Ronald Acuna and Ozzie Albies, the ever-consistent Freddie Freeman, and rejuvenated Josh Donaldson. Their pitching staff wasn't all that bad either. With the addition of Dallas Keuchel, they were able to march out a pretty dominant rotation that also portrayed Mike Soroka and Max Fried. Their bullpen was one that was a weak point for this team, but they took steps during the deadline to fix that. The St. Louis Cardinals were a team that came on strong in the last few months of the season to take the division behind timely hitting and solid pitching during that stretch. Looking at their lineup, the Cardinals' best hitter based on their average was hitting .270. Not bad, but not what you'd expect from a playoff team that won the division. They got hot at the right time and carried the momentum they got through the rest of the season. Besides their offense, they had great pitching performances from Jack Flaherty and Dakota Hudson, with some turn-back-the-clock appearances by Adam Wainwright. Their bullpen performed a bit better than the Braves, with great season stats from Carlos Martinez and fireballer Giovanni Gallegos. On to the matchup between these two. In a 5-game series where at most the top starters might get another start if the series goes all 5 games, I give the advantage to the Cardinals. They are coming into the playoffs on a hot streak, which is not to say the Braves won't be ready, but they had the division clinched at the beginning of the month. They were able to coast through the rest of the season. The Cardinals clinched the division in the final game of the regular season. The Braves are without a doubt a talented team, but they don't have enough playoff experience for my liking. With all these reasons, I think the Cardinals would be too much for them. The next matchup I will cover is the LA Dodgers and the Washington Nationals. There might not be a more complete team in the National League than the Dodgers. They can hit, they can pitch, and they can field the ball. They don't offer up much of a weakness besides Kenley Jansen at closer. He hasn't been the same pitcher than in years past. Even though he's found more success in closing games this year as opposed to last, with the new pitching style, he is still a question mark in that bullpen. The Washington Nationals are a fun team to watch. They were a team not pegged to do much this year with their loss of Bryce Harper in the offseason. They didn't want to listen to those predictions. They have an offense that can hit with any other team in this league with their core of Trey Turner, Adam Eaton, Victor Robles, Juan Soto, and Anthony Rendon. Not to mention a starting rotation that has Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer, and Patrick Corbin. Their main weakness is that bullpen that was victimized many times during the course of this season. This may surprise some people, but I think the Nationals have enough offense and stout pitching to not only force the series to go to Game 5, but see the Nationals come out as winners of this entertaining matchup. To wrap up the National League playoff bracket, a matchup between the Cardinals and the Nationals probably is the one that many people would expect in the NLCS, but that is what I believe will take place. I've highlighted each team's good and bad qualities, so in an effort to not repeat myself, I believe the Nationals are too talented offensively to be beaten by the Cardinals, and I see the Nationals as your National League World Series representatives. On to the American League. The first matchup consists of the Tampa Bay Rays and the Houston Astros. If you remember from my previous video when I mentioned the Rays and their postseason hunt, they are a team that continued to hang around even when most others had written them off after suffering key injuries to their pitching staff. However, they are now all healthy and ready to start this playoff series against a talented Houston team. The Rays have a consistent offense paired with a strong starting rotation of Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and Charlie Morton, formerly of the Houston Astros. That being said, they're going against a powerhouse that is the Astros. With all-star caliber players like Jose Altuve, George Springer, Yuli Gurriel, Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman, Michael Brantley, and rookie sensation Yordan Alvarez, plus the three-headed monster of a starting rotation of Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, and Zach Greinke. It's hard to believe just how much talent is on this roster. The Rays made a tremendous run during this season to get into the postseason, but I believe their journey ends in Houston. The Astros are just too talented to be taken down right now. The next matchup consists of the New York Yankees and the Minnesota Twins. Each team has boasted their power numbers during the course of this year by posting over 300 home runs over the season. They were battling back and forth during the final month of the regular season to see which team would hit the most home runs during the course of the season. That saw the Twins edge out the Yankees 307 to 306. Both teams have talented starting rotation, with the Twins able to march out Jose Barrios, a budding star in the Twins organization, Jake Odorizzi, and Kyle Gibson. The Yankees are no slouches when they send out James Paxton, Domingo Germán, and Luis Severino, who missed the entirety of this season besides the last few weeks of September. Both teams have a great offense, both teams have solid pitching, and both teams' bullpens have been good and bad at different times during the course of this season. What will set them apart is their playoff experience that the Yankees clearly have. This is why I'm picking them to advance in this series. Which brings us to the ALCS between the Yankees and the Astros. Two teams that I would say nearly everyone has pegged to make it to this stage in the playoffs. As I have mentioned, each team is stacked offensively and isn't hurting in the pitching department. However, I give the advantage to the Astros in this series that will be mightily entertaining. They are just too good all around to overlook here. That brings us to the World Series matchup between the Astros and the Nationals. Not to mince words, I will just plainly say that I believe the Nationals will win the World Series. They have an offense that can hang with anyone, and their pitching staff is arguably better than what the Astros are able to march out there right now. I had the Nationals winning the World Series in 6 games in what will shape up to be a great matchup to watch. Well, there you have it. Those are my picks. Join along with me as we watch the progression of this year's postseason and see how many picks I have made correctly. Until next time, I'm Kevin Householder.